Hello YouTube. I hope you're staying safe during this crazy year. So I realize, and I apologize for not giving you guys a more recent video. I know several of you subscribed and I've been getting a number of views. So obviously what I have to say has been interesting to a few of you. And it's honestly quite humbling for me because I'm the type who tends to be more, I guess you could say, shy. So even just getting a few subscribers, I see it and I feel honestly kind of an obligation to you to keep putting out content, and hopefully I put out content that helps you or informs you in some way. So this talk, I just want to simply tell you about how things are going for me over the past 3 months. Obviously there's been a lot of things going on and this has just been really difficult and challenging for me, so as for all of us. But I did want to say things are going well for me. As far as the whole pandemic and financials, I've been set and I've been well off. I had some, honestly, probably greater issues when it came to work back in 2019, where I had a boss tell me he was planning on laying me off, and so I just left and took up new work. Well, that new work I have happens to be in the ag industry, so fortunate for me that that's a necessary business, so it's not going away, even though I work in the research area. So the one thing I will say, though, that has been particularly difficult this year is just the psychological component. So with kids getting out of school early, them going to online learning, there were so many challenges. One of the big challenges I had was, the idea of online learning is great and sounds great on paper, but then you have reality, right? You've got a teenager who's using a computer for online learning and you can't be there watching them 24/7. I won't get into any details. We'll just say it got to the point where, just try and make it, or they're working as public as an area as possible, and I'm getting the computer back right after, and it adds more burden to me because I want to just give them a computer and just leave them be to do their work, but the internet isn't such a great and safe place, especially for some of these kids that come into the system and they know a bit more than what you perhaps want them to know. So there have been so many challenges. Also the psychological challenges. I definitely have noticed that my foster kids are struggling when it comes to just mental health, when it comes to depression. There have been a lot of struggles and challenges over the past several months. Things are getting better now. In my area, they've decided to open the schools. It's not going to be online learning. And so I've been noticing with the one kid I have currently, just that depression that he was really struggling with over the past month. Now that he's able to start socializing again, now he's able to start doing activities like sports again, the depression is just going away. So it's a good thing. So I'm sure there are plenty out there who will bash this area and bash whoever's in charge for how dare you open schools, but the reality is, for psychological and mental well-being of these foster kids, I would say it's for the best. It's a lot better than worrying about the health crisis of, are they going to commit suicide? Are they going to get into drugs to try and solve their depression issues? XYZ. So yeah, that's one of the big challenges these days. There's so many aspects to everything. And also it's become so political too. It doesn't help at all. But we'll work through it. We're all working through it, all of us together. So last time I talked to you, I had 2 teenagers in my home? Why not have only one? The one who left, he decided he wanted to move to a different city where he had some old friends, and he was more familiar with the school and everything else, because here he came back in January, started up with a new semester of high school, and then coronavirus happened, and then he ended up not going to school, and then because that he never fully established friendships, and so I think it really wore on him to not have that social life, and I think he felt isolated and lonely, so it really was a driving factor for him to want to go back to this other city where he was prior, and every adult was trying to get him to stay here, trying to get him to finish high school here. It was going to work out best for him, but he's close to 18, and we just had to put our hands up eventually when he wasn't willing to put forth the work necessary to make sure he could finish high school here, and so they found another place for him that was in the city he actually wanted to live. And so I think it was kind of used as a last-ditch effort of, hey, you're getting what you want, just get your act together, just trying to figure out life because you're almost 18. So it's kind of sad to have him go. There's always the strange relationship. Like, he never fully attached to me because he's always kind of I do everything on my own by myself, etc., etc. I don't need you, so he never really attached with me, but still you have this sort of relationship of you're expecting them all the time, you're providing for them, you're used to having them around, and then, even though they didn't make a whole lot of effort to bond with you, they're gone, and now it's just like there's this void. So that's, it's one of the things that being a foster parent, sometimes you get attached and it'd be really painful, or sometimes it just, maybe they didn't want to attach, but you still have put them in your life, and when they leave it still creates a void regardless of if they develop strong attachments. But that's basically the quick story of how things have been. There have been a lot more things going on. I've made a lot of progress with the kid I have currently. He's the one who has had, and I'll use past tense, crazy anger issues. He still does have some anger issues. It wasn't that long ago he put a bit of a ding in my wall by throwing a Rubik's Cube. But we'll just say it's a huge improvement from threatening to kill me and, kicking a hole from one end of the wall clear through the other. At the same time, he punched another wall. At the same time, he threw the couch and the TV and the et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a huge improvement. And I'll have to talk more about that some other point. I have to be somewhat ambiguous about it just because he's a kid with me currently, and I don't know if there's any way through the internet so I could kind of piece things together, as to who I am and where I live. But we'll be cautious about it. But definitely have to give you guys some more information on my strategy of working with this kid with all his anger issues. But I did want to give you that quick update and just let you know how things are going and how I'm faring with this crazy year 2020. So anyhow, hope everything's going well for you guys and all of you are staying safe, and hopefully your pockets are surviving too if you live in an area where your job, you got laid off or what have you. So wish you the best, and hopefully I'll be uploading more videos soon just on some of these other topics I'm sure y'all care a lot about. So thanks for watching.